Sir, how are you? No, you ain't talking to me. I'm 6'5". No, you ain't
All right, first of all, let me thank everybody for coming out. Joe. Let me thank everybody for coming out. I appreciate everybody coming here to give us a chance to educate the city about the Blight, the Bright program that we're starting here. Again, before we get started, I want to put out a few ground rules. This is just education only tonight. We will not discuss any property in detail itself. This is just to educate everybody on what's going on and how to file a complaint, how to what we're looking for, and also the procedures and everything that comes with it. Presentation. Unfortunately, the resolution of it is not the greatest. I'm sorry, so we're gonna cut the lights off a little bit. Please don't go to sleep, and if you do go to sleep, don't snore. And then once we finish that, I have a few words. Ms. Walsh and Matt Newcomb, Captain Matt Newcomb, Police Department is here to help me with any questions on this situation. Again, this is an educational only this time. So just sit back, enjoy. We'll have a question and answer at the end, and we'll be able to divide up the 3 different tables, so you can go to each table and discuss some things, and they can answer some questions, so we can have spread out a little bit, and everybody can be lumped in so that's so close to each other. Again, thank you. The people here with me is going to be Lisa Walsh. She's our planning and zoning director. We have from the police department, Captain Matt Newcomb. We have several commissioners and the mayor in the house. I don't have to say it, but due to sunshine law, we can't have y'all discussing it with each other. So just kind of stay 3 seats away from each other so we can keep this moving, this meeting safe. All right. Other than that, we got refreshments in the back corner, water, Gatorade, snacks, and some fatty food if you want it. Yes, ma'am. Well, we're gonna have, I was gonna say, the PowerPoint itself is gonna be online through our Facebook page and the website. Tonight, we'll just print out a few because when we realize you can hardly see some of the verbiage, so we're hoping that you can share it with people, read it and pass it on so you can see it come out. Wait till the train stops on 5. All right, Christy.
Commissioner Campbell's got it.
Oh, thank you, Campbell. Commissioner Campbell got it. All right, so again, the PowerPoint will be on our Facebook page and also the city's web page. So when you want to go see more detail, you can get it from there. As you see the papers in your hand, the PowerPoint is going to be a little longer, but I removed the properties out of the pamphlet I hand out. All right, so the first thing is we want to say, welcome to the Blight, the Bright meeting. Next slide. All right, so this page right here is in your little pamphlet. These are just the 22 properties. I know you can barely see them, and I do apologize. These are just the 22 properties that we identified. But that doesn't mean the city that it's more than that. So if you don't see a property on here that you know is in the Blight Tier 1 situation, don't panic. We have a bunch more. Those were just the first 22 that we put in the first tier. Tier 1, next slide. The definition of Blight. And what the definition of Blight is, Blight. Again, I'm a country boy from Tennessee, so excuse my running words together. But Blight is just being the area of endangerment and public health, safety, and welfare concern. It's just buildings or lots or factories or businesses that is just a public safety issue. I.e. eyesore, endangered, open building, wood and weak, rotting weak and wood is unsafe for people to be in there. And that's what the definition of Blight. It's a big old definition, but break it down to layman terms. It's an eyesore building that's unsafe for us as the citizens of Palaca to be around and be in. And the one thing we don't want to have anybody hurt, harm, or danger. Blight properties is pretty much the same thing. It's just you apply that to structures, buildings, and everything. And you have seen several blight properties around here. So the first 22 that you will see on the list, my staff, and the planning and zoning, we felt like those were some we need to take action immediately. Again, the city is not in buying property or wanting property. We want the citizens and the property owners to come in compliance. We want you to do your part to keep this property up and in good condition. If you can't do that, then we're gonna have to force the issue. So I want everybody to understand, leave here, we're not trying to take anybody's property. We want you to do what you can do to keep your property in good standing and up to code. If you do that, you'll never get a letter, email, or a phone call from my department. And I don't think you'll get one from Ms. Walsh's department. And I know you won't get any problems from the police department about property issues. You might get some other issues from them. So if you do your part, we'll be good. Next slide. These are my two code enforcement officers, David Green and Christy Lowe, and they're both in the back corner. These are my right-hand people. They make this thing a nice oil machine, and I trust them, and I definitely want to say thank them in front of the public for the hard work that they put out there. All right, so the next 10 to 15 slides, we're just gonna go through some properties that we have identified. You don't have it in your pamphlet.
Microphone.
Sorry, I forgot one thing. The next several slides is just gonna be some of the properties that we have identified. Again, I would say that these are not the only properties in the city of Palaca that's gonna be on the tier 1 blacklist. It's just the first 22 that we addressed, and we felt that let's start. You don't need an elephant, one bite at a time. So this is our first bite of that elephant. Next slide. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to go slowly through the slide because the picture speaks for itself. Next slide. Hold up there. And as you can see, the packages, and when you get this on the website or the Facebook page, you'll see how the packages are built. The information in the packages is such. So we have documentation on all this for our tax deeds, tax old taxes, addresses, people. But I don't want to put a lot of information up there because some of the information has people information on it. And then you will see in there some of the violations that we have. And most of them are going to be 3169 deteriorating structures, because as we see, all of them are deteriorating structures. These right here structures, you'll see these pictures are structures that, and again, I'm not an engineer, but from talking to planning and zoning from the county and other people, these structures are going to be hard for you to repair. If you got the money, anything can be repaired. But in our eyes, most of these properties are going to have to be some major work. We can't tell you what to do with your property. All we do is give you a suggestion: repair, replace, or remove. And that's the standard verb my office is going to give you. And that's because I tell them, you got to make the decision how much money and time you want to spend on taking care of your property. Next one.
Cause I'm waiting for you to nod or something.
Hey, Eddie, can you slow it down just a little bit?
All right.
You want me to go back, Motion?
Yeah, we get the pictures, then we're trying to figure it out. Thank you.
Now again, so you know that this will be on our Facebook page and website, so you can get a detailed presentation so you can read everything. I just want to skim over the top one. Take your time, and we will take your time. And we will take your time. And and what you'll see, once you pull it up and you get it from our website or Facebook page, or you can call me and we can email it to you, depending on how we need it. You'll see the violations for property. Some violations on there, you might see 6 to 7 violations. 3 or 4 of those probably can be fixed simple, but the other 3 it's gonna be major issues. But we are highlighting every violation that we see on the property. If you can fix it in a 10-day compliance letter, a 10-day work, that's fine. But if it doesn't, it'll go to the hearing, and you'll get that information in that process later into the speech.
This one just went in magistrate.
Next slide. All right, can you go back one time?
Go back?
Yeah,
Okay,
just wanted a few people to see that.
okay,
Next slide.
okay.
Next slide. And as you can see, and I'll just make a little statement on these pictures. I could be wrong. But most of these pictures, most of these properties, you can tell that they're definitely in need of major repair. And they're actually something that we need to fix so we can bring this gem of a city back to the gem it used to be. Keep going. Keep going. Now, I would like to say this, in case people in the audience, a couple of these properties, we have had the owner or representative reach out to us and trying to do things with it. So I don't want to think all these properties owners are really de facto landlords or tenants. There are some of them are actually trying to do some things now. I can't answer why it took so long, but I do. 3 properties have reached out to us over the last month trying to work on remedying some of these issues. So I want to make sure I put that on record that some of these property owners are actually trying to do due diligence. We got 2 more goals, so we're about to the end of this pictures of the property. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. All right, okay. So now, areas of focus. This program here is broke down. This program here is broke down to 3 tiers. 3 tiers. Tier 1 is the properties and properties like the ones you just seen. Major deteriorating structures, unsafe structure, hurt, harm, and danger structure, and at best, at least a major eyesore to the city of Blight. That's tier 1. And all properties that fall in that will be in tier 1. And that is the first phase of this Blight to Bright program that we created. So bear with us. If you have some things that's, I hate to say it, but it's just, I'm old country boy, low hanging fruit violations, we're gonna get to them, but we only can do so much. So we do have a process to get them. So I will bring that up and make sure everybody know what our procedure on getting to all our complaints. Next slide. Oh, hold on. Tier 2. Tier 2 is similar to tier 1, but those are structures that we deem, and again, these are just our best guess estimates. The planning and zoning, county planning and zoning, engineers and all that will let us know definitely what can and cannot be salvageable or not. But these are the properties that have major structural issues, but can be fixed or have habitation to them. People are living in it. Businesses are running. It just things need to be majorly tightened up and fixed. That's the tier 2 phase of this. That's right. Tier 3 is pretty much general code enforcement. grass more than 13 inches, trash and debris in the yard, a couple broken windows, derelict vehicles in the yard. One of the gentlemen barking dogs too long. Those complaints that we're dealing with. And tier 3 is just important to us as tier 1 and 2. But I have to say this, that we have to work things in priority. Safety concerns gonna trump a dog pooping in the yard. And that, I'm just being honest with you. And unfortunately, I'm not the most political person like my commissioners and the mayor here and the old country boy from Tennessee, so I'm gonna say it straight up. Safety issues gonna trump small, low-hanging fruit violations. But we will get to them. Nobody would not go unnoticed on any violations we bring to the city of Palatka Code Enforcement. But just understand things are gonna be done in private. All right, in summary, we created this Blight program to address several issues that I have seen, that my staff have seen, that the commissioners have brought to my attention, the mayor has seen, and most of all, you have seen, that we need to now address. I cannot speak for the past. I cannot answer any questions of why what wasn't done or was done, but I can tell you with the team I have, with the assistance from the planning and zoning, with the assistance from the police department and the commissioners and the mayor that we have, and the city manager now, and hopefully the new city manager we have, whenever that comes about, we got a lot of good energy, and our job is now to bring this city back to the gym it used to be. But I can't do none of this. My staff can't do none of this. The city can't do none of this without your help. Without your help. All right, so this is some contact information for the code enforcement department only. That's myself, Eddie Cutright, the director. You can reach out to me anytime. David Green, Christy Lowe, and my assistant here, Aaron Hughes. Send us anything, complaints, ideas, questions, concerns. But please understand, give us 48 to 72 hours to reply back, because as you are sending something, 3,500 old people are sending stuff, and it takes time, okay? All right, so now, before I move on to the next section of this, I'm gonna see if Ms. Walsh got anything.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm Lisa Walsh, the planning director. I've been here about almost 2 years now. It's been an interesting ride, I can tell you that. What I wanted to explain to you is that when you have to do these repairs, most often you will need a building permit. The building permits are a little confusing in that all the small cities in Putnam County contract with Putnam County to do our building permit. So you don't actually come to our department to ask for a building permit. You start at the county. They've got an online permitting system on their site called Citizen Serve Permitting, and you can go there and apply for your building permit online. And if you are in a historic district and you get a code enforcement violation, yes, you have to get a building permit, but you also have to get a certificate of appropriateness for any alteration that you make, any alteration. Which is one of the most stringent historic preservation codes I've seen around in my 25 years of planning. But it's any alteration. So when you come to me, there are things that I can approve at the staff level that are pretty basic things, like if you're going to swap out a roof, if you're going from a metal roof to another metal roof, I can approve that. If you're going from paint colors, I can approve that. If you're going doors, same doors as what you had before, wood door for wood door, that sort of thing, I can usually approve that at the staff level. But anything that's different has to be done in front of the Historic Preservation Board, and that takes time. So when Eddie comes to you with a code enforcement violation, if you're in a historic district, please allow for that extra time that's needed. The Historic Preservation Board meets once a month. The first Tuesday, yes, no, first Thursday of every month. And we ask that you get an application in 5 weeks ahead of time before the next meeting date. So we have time to process it and get it advertised so that we can meet on that specified date. I think that this program that the city has started is a good move for the entire city, a really good move for the entire city. Because when people drive through here, I hear it all the time. Palatka has so much potential, but it looks really shabby. Or I see this, I see that. And this is something that will help all of us, every single one of us. And it's important. It's important because when you invest in your community, so will other people. And it benefits everyone. I don't have anything else for you.
Yeah.
And I'll be around to answer questions if you need to come see me. My contact information is this main number at City Hall, 386-329-0100. Thank you.
As you came in, I don't know if you went by the two tables up in the back. If you haven't, please grab one of these pamphlets, brochures or whatever words you want to use for it. This right here is going to be very informative to you. I'm going to skim through it a little bit, but this has the detail of what the code enforcement and planning is on, and also contact information for those people. And we're trying to make it where you will educate you so you know how to file a complaint, the procedure that comes with the complaint, the timeline that comes with the complaint. Same thing with planning and zoning, and what's code enforcement issues and what's law enforcement issues. We have a major disparity with that. We're not first responders. So if it's something that you need done immediately, that it is safe or issues like that, please call law enforcement. If it's something that you're okay with it taking a time frame to get done, depending on if it falls in our lane of responsibility, that's where we come in at. So to address the elephant in the room, about a month ago, we sent out about 3,500 letters to everybody in the city of Palatka that own property. Now, we have received since then probably 500 to 600 phone calls back to our office about why you picking on me, or I don't have no property that's in out of compliance. That letter was just to tell the city of Palatka what we was trying to do, what we're looking at doing. That was something the commissioners and the mayor and the city manager wanted us to give proper notification of what was coming up. Now, just recently, I mailed out a second set of letters. Now, if you get that letter, that lets you know that what your property is on one of the 22 that you see up there, Now, that one's a little bit more detailed, and that is one that you might want to take a little serious. But we're trying to work with everybody with that property. We're trying to work with new buyers, old buyers, landlords, LLCs. So we are trying to work with you. Again, you'll hear me say this in this presentation probably another 5 or 6 times. The city just wants compliance. Compliance, compliance, compliance. So going forward with this pamphlet pretty much just tells you everything. But I'm gonna give you a quick sum up of how we do in the code enforcement world. I.e., either complaint driven or initiated by one of my code enforcement officers, we will identify a piece of property that has a violation. Then 48 to 72 hours, one of my officers will go out there and take a look at the property or the lot or whatever the violation is. If we deem that it is a violation, then we will turn around and send you a 10-day voluntary compliance letter. It's not saying you're getting any fines and fees. It's not saying anything other than, hey, the city see or somebody saw that you got some deficiencies in something, either your property, yard, or whatever, please get it fixed. You get it fixed within that 10 days, nothing ever happens. Your name don't go in no registry, your name don't go in no system. It's just thank you, we appreciate you, and we move on. If you don't get it into that 10-day compliance, and when I say 10, it's 10 working days. So if you are the complainer, don't come in on 10 days and you had 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays in between them. That is not 10 working days. Right now, I'm trying to build my staff, and since I have the support of the commissioners and the mayor here, hopefully I can lobby to get a couple more officers, but we're working. They're coming along and they're supporting us. So after the 10 days, working days is done, now the officer will go back out there in a reasonable time. If the 10 days fall on a Friday evening, so you have until midnight of that day, 11:59, to come in compliance. So we won't expect it to the next day, and if that falls on weekend, to the following Monday. If it's still out of compliance, now you will see a letter of notice to hearing. Our hearings on the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 1:30. So depending on when we get your complaint or get your property, you might have a whole month or you might have less than a month. But in the notice of the hearing, we got to give you 15 days to make sure you have proper time to be at the hearing. So that's why when I said earlier on in this statement is, we're not first responders. We can't get anything done. As you have seen now, in just the second phase of this, it's almost 40 days that went in from the initial complaint to when we got you to the hearing. Once you get to the hearing, you or your representative got a chance to rebuttal anything the city has to offer. If the magistrate find that the city has sufficient evidence for their claims, now he will then give you another 30, 60, 90 to 120 days, depending on the violation, to get this property compliant. So in most cases, especially with the structure issue problem, roof issues and stuff, in most cases, you have about 5 months before you have to, before your fine start. So that's why I want you to understand, in the old timelines, we cannot break anywhere. Those are Florida statute timelines with code enforcement. So we gotta go through those timelines. All right, so I want people to understand it. I get a bunch of calls of why we ain't done this. Well, we can't do anything till we get to that next level of timeline. Now, they ain't doing no work to their property. We can't make them do anything until 11:59, the date of the last timeline to get this property compliant. If they choose not to do something, we can't do anything to the next step. If they want to wait till the last day, that's all we can do. So I want people to understand that that is one of the major confusion that people think code enforcement can make somebody do something. We're not law enforcement. All we can do is hold fines and fees over your head until it gets so high to the city want to do abatements or foreclosures. And all I can do is get the property to that point. If you, as the citizen or the property owner, don't want to do anything to your property. Along the way, we're going to try to work with you. We're going to try to educate you. But all we can do is hope that you do what you need to do. We can't recommend any organizations to help you because I don't want to bring somebody to you and then they don't work out. Now you want to blame me for picking that person. And I'm not going to do that. We are working with a couple of churches and organizations to help people in certain needs with low-hanging fruit issues, grass cutting, painting, that nature. But that's nowhere in place yet. We're trying to get some couple churches and a couple organizations to commit to doing it. But again, I can't make anybody do anything. So I want to educate you. In 3 minutes, we're gonna break out and we're gonna have 3 different stages for any questions that we can hopefully answer for you. And we're gonna have planning and zoning, police department, and planning and zoning here to discuss things with you. I want to first say thank you again for coming out here. It shows me that you really love the city of Palatka. Because if I can be candid, can I be candid with everybody here?
No.
We was not sure what the turnout was going to be. I am very pleased that every chair was filled. So
And we applaud you.
we applaud you. That means a lot to myself. That means a lot to my staff. That means a lot to planning and zoning. I'm pretty sure Matt back there, it means a lot to him because this is a team effort. And in a team, you're only as good as the weakest link. That third string kicker is just as important as that starting quarterback. Because one day, that third string kicker will have to get a game and make a field goal. So that's why I want you everybody to understand that we appreciate that. So I'm proud. To anybody that's Matt, anything you want to share, anything you want to say?
No, sir, we're just here to, I'm here to answer questions. We're just for us here on the police department side.
Do anybody got any questions about this pamphlet that I can go through right now?
Excuse me, this might be a dumb question, but I would like to know the person that don't have any money, like you say, going to the church. Are y'all willing to help the person that, let's say, it's a disabled person that they're home and they don't have enough money to fix their house? So what are you gonna do about that?
That's why we're trying to get organizations and church organizations groups to help with it. The city, right now, we're not set up right now, and we're looking at, I know a couple commissioners have talked about some allocating some funds to try to help some things. We're not set up yet to do that. And most of the problems is some of the issues that some of the elderly houses that need work, the funds that were set up to disperse $5,000 to $10,000 would nowhere near touch the repairs that a house needs. So we're trying to put stuff in place, but right now we don't have it in place that I know of. Now we are working together with the commissioners and the mayor and the city manager to come up with some things. Just here on Tuesday, or maybe Wednesday, I met with a church, a pastor that is trying to come up with some things to help the disabled, the senior citizens that need help. So we're trying to put something together. And I would definitely keep you abreast on that. And we're gonna keep our webpage, our Facebook page, and we're gonna create another avenue of educating to keep you informed so you'll know when those come in place. All right.
Yes, at one time, the city used to come in on dilapidated properties and removal of the property and assess the fees back to the property taxes that they own.
Yes, that is where this stage is going with the Blight program. That's where this stage is going. All right, so if nobody got any more questions about this pamphlet now, the pamphlet. So we're gonna break out into small groups to answer these questions that you have. I don't.
I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a question based on the answer.
Okay.
The 10 days, I guess I don't understand that part,
Mhm.
because from what you showed us, I don't see 10 days, someone can't complete it.
Now, and again,
To me, that's an unreasonable
Well-
expectation.
but that's a policy that we have to go through. Trust me,
Did we make it policy or did the state?
the Florida State makes the policy. And let me explain to you why. Because the policy affects every case, not just the major cases. You got a person that got high grass can be cut in 10 days.
Right.
So that's why instead of trying to figure out which ones you send that to and which ones you don't, you send it to everybody. So you won't have no confusion about the system. And now, again, we understand that I'm gonna try to use a property, 1010 Ocean Street. I'm gonna let Joe know who that is. We sent a 10-day letter to that to get that ready. We know that's not gonna be fixed. But unfortunately, I gotta spend $8 to send a certified letter just to tell you something I already know you ain't get done. But that's just the procedure in place. And right now, until they change it, we gotta abide by it. But we do understand what you said. But that unfortunately, I cannot. For the first time I don't send it, then I'm gonna get in trouble. Is it about the pamphlet? Right now, I just want to talk about the pamphlet, because we're gonna break out in small groups. So I'm gonna go her behind you, then I'll go you next, man. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Two ways that you say to communicate with people, Facebook and whatever.
The website.
The website.
How you can have it, what you like.
And we're gonna try to put it in the newspaper. We're gonna try to support the different ways that we have. And if we can't find a way that work for you, I'm gonna give you my business card. We can email it to you, or I can, yeah, I'll give you or we can call you. We are committed to educating you. And if we gotta go the extra mile, we will. But I need your help. Because if I don't know what stream works best for you, I can't get it to you. Okay?
Yes, I just wanted to speak on the young lady, because I was concerned about that too, because it doesn't seem that, I had the same issue with the building I got with the partners, and I knew it couldn't do it.
Yes.
The whole move and all that, 10 days, it's kind of a waste of time. I don't know the legislation that make those laws, I guess we're gonna start voting.
Yeah.
A better, thing, so that we need to help us, and those people that are leaders that we are putting that trust in, and this is what they do to us.
And
It doesn't be fair, but I understand your situation, that's your hands are tied.
unfortunately, that is true. And again, ma'am, I will say here in public forum here, I understand. You don't understand as many times as Mr. Green and Christie, Ms. Lowe, or my assistant, Aaron, we have sitting here and said, really? We've been to send 10 letters out to properties we already know that's not coming in compliance in 10 days. But unfortunately, that is the step that we have to take.
So that next step is gonna be what?
Then, if it's not in compliance today, then you will get a letter, a notice of hearing.
Even though we know I'm not able to fix it.
Well, again, see,
But
but no, that's the notice of the hearing to get you to the magistrate, to give you time to fix it. Yeah, discuss time.
Don't take long.
Yes. And the procedure right now in place, is when you get there, we have 30, 60, 90 to 120 days that we give you. And if you're in a certain area, we give you a little bit more time, because if you're in one of the historical neighborhoods, it's gonna take a little longer, because she just told you they meet once a month. So we give you another 30 days to get that, because these are special materials that you need to fix that building. All right? Okay, and again, I want to make sure we stay on this topic, because you're gonna break out in your small groups. All right. Ms. Kitchen, first thing.
And it's all pampered, but according to city code, not just weeds, 18 inches or higher, we said 13, when it is not 5.
That was just, which one you talking about?
Oh, and not just weeds, on the left-hand side of the brochure, on the, down toward the bottom. Okay, on the page 2, it says common types of violations, outdoor growing lawns.
Mhm.
And you mentioned not just
Well,
13 inches, but it's 18 inches, that's a.
No, that was just me making a point of why about it. Yeah. That was not the original length. I'm just throwing it out there as a couple of
Okay,
points.
make sure I make the issue.
All right, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Mr. Vickers.
Okay. Talk about how is it grass and weeds, whatever, does this apply to city property?
Yes. Trust me, we have to, I have put a violation on the gas authority. I have put a violation on public works. Yes, it applies to everything that we see. It's nothing off limit to me. And I'm gonna use a commissioner just to use as an example. Is that okay, Mr. Kelly? Okay, then I won't use it. But if anybody has a violation, I'm gonna send them a 10-day violation. Because at the end of the day, nobody should open above the law. Nobody should be above the law. Now I got,
I guess my question was, with the permit process taking time, I guess, in the case of Central Academy, with it being a historic place, what is the timeline for permit for something of that nature?
that would be once you get with the historical board and you get into that meeting with them, and they can give you better timeline, and then we will work with them on the timeline that they want.
Now, from my understanding, Central Academy is not included in the North or South Historic District, so therefore,
Correct.
it doesn't have, the protection.
And then that's where we would have to have special meetings to discuss that. Because we want to give you time, but we also got to stay within the guidelines of what we got to keep moving forward. But we also have programs in place after the hearing that can remedy some of the fines and fees and reduce some stuff. People don't understand that we can help you on the back end too, but we can't just stop the program, the process of the system. But if you have a special need, we can work with that. But I don't want to just get it.
Central Academy has a historical designation.
Mhm.
So now,
Permits, expired permits.
yeah.
A
So
long
now,
time.
keep in mind, I'm gonna answer one about the permit, and we're gonna move on to smoke, and let you talk, then we're gonna move on. Also, keep in mind, you have until this permit expires to get the work done, but you gotta keep us informed. You gotta keep us informed, and we can work with you on things like that, as long as we are informed. The major problem I have with a lot of people that have some property, especially out of town landlords, out of town property owners, is no communication. Communication is the key. Communication will go a long way if you communicate, and communicate respectfully. Don't come to us, we're not picking on you. My staff has nothing personally against nobody that I know of. And if I find out that they do, we will address that issue. Everything is by the book, and most of the time, we only have a few initially driven complaints. Most of them is the neighbors are complaining. Most of them is your friends, people that see your property is complaining of it. So I want everybody to understand that we're trying to work with you, and we want to work with you, but we still have a guideline that we have to go through. I mean, I can't circumvent that. So now I'm not going to get caught up on Central Academy, because I want to move this forward, but we can discuss this Central Academy in a meeting to talk more about what's going on. So if it's about Central Academy in detail, I'm gonna move on to the next question. But if it's not,
My question is about the grant process, like there's a grant that is open from, let's say, April 1st to June 1st. That grant will be awarded until next year. It's a
and again,
competitive grant.
I understand that now. Again, we can discuss Central Academy offline in a meeting. This meeting is just education for the code enforcement process, the code enforcement SOP and guideline. It's not a direct property meeting. I understand, and we know Central Academy is gonna take a lot of conversation. We understand that. We know that. That's one of the reasons why it was moved out the top 10. Again, I'm not gonna change that list. We have a list that we're going out the property. The list, I would not remove a blight property out the blight list if it's still blight.
But it's still in the top 10.
Again, that is this presentation was made a while ago.
And the address is also.
Okay, and we can fix all that. We can fix all that. Again, we can fix those things. I don't think nobody has a problem identifying West Central Academy. We'll fix that. We will. Okay? Let's get to last question.
The Central Academy is still on the list, like they said, but the city's not going to take any action on it right now. So you say the time being, I think that's pretty much said, that's that commission meeting.
Yeah, last question.
Not about city,
Okay. Thank you.
it's about the city.
Okay.
Now, this is about property
Properties, lots, or business.
and road.
No, this is not a road. This is not a road.
Good try. Good
This
try.
is not a road meeting. This is not a street meeting. If we have a public works representative here. If you want to field questions, I'll disperse you to different tables. You think. This is not. So
Run, Joe.
This one, when did the blighted process begin?
this project process began in mid-February. The conversation of identifying so many properties, and it came about from youth, the community, addressing to why you picking on me and not picking on these properties. And again, we just got to where we could be initial driven. For the longest, the city of Palaca, in my reign of being a code enforcement director, we was complaint driven on. And I drove by so many properties. My staff drove by so many properties, and matter of fact, Mr. Green, can I use you? Yeah. Mr. Green came to me several times. Man, we need to get this. We need to hit this property. We need to put this property. So Mr. Green, we can't do it. We gotta have somebody. So once the commissioners open those doors for us, then we start attacking this. Okay, so now what I want now, thank everybody. We have 3 tables. We have a table to your left, we have a table to the right, and we have a small table up front. Please come, ask simple questions, educational questions, but do not ask questions about particular properties We will not address those tonight, okay? Public Works, where you gonna, Joe, where you gonna camp up? Where you want to be, they got questions about the street.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Where you want to camp?